There's always been something magical about Superman. The cape, the sky, the feeling like anything is possible. It's not just the first superhero. We call him the best for a reason. He stands for hope, for kindness, and for doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. But for a long time, Hollywood forgot that. In 2013, Man of Steel gave us something darker. Zack Snyder created a version of Superman who was quiet, heavy, even a little cold. He was torn between two worlds, full of power but unsure whether humanity deserved it. And for many people at the time, that made sense. The world was darker, more complicated. We wanted our heroes to feel real, even if that meant they were sad, distant, or violent. But it also meant something important got lost along the way. Wonder, joy, the heart of who Superman really is. Now James Gunn is doing something no one expected. He's undoing the gloom. With Superman Legacy, he's bringing back the version of Superman we remember from childhood. Not a perfect man, not a god, but a guy raised on a farm by good people, who believes in helping others simply because it's the right thing to do. Gunn's Superman laughs. He talks to kids. He doesn't just rescue people, he sticks around after, helping rebuild homes with his own hands. He doesn't float above the world like he's separate from it. He walks among us, listens to us, and cares. That one change giving Superman back his humanity makes all the difference. Instead of fear, there's warmth. Instead of punishment, there's compassion. Instead of loneliness, there's connection. When you look at Man of Steel, there's beauty in it, sure. Snyder gave us stunning visuals, a haunting score, and a Superman struggling with massive inner conflict. But he also gave us a character who couldn't smile, who didn't seem to enjoy saving people, who destroyed an entire city while trying to protect it, then never really took a moment to grieve. Instead of hope, that version made us feel small, even helpless. It was powerful, yes, but never comforting. Gunn is making Superman comforting again. He's reminding us why we loved him in the first place. Not because he's the strongest man in the universe, but because he cares more than anyone else. Even the colors tell the story. Man of Steel was gray, cold, mechanical. Everything felt tense. Gunn's Superman is bright, colorful, full of light. It looks like a world where a hero can actually make a difference. The costume looks hopeful. The tone feels human. And from what we've heard, Clark Kent, played by David Corenswet, going to be a real person. Not just the disguise that Superman hides behind, but the core of who he is. Kind, honest, maybe a little awkward, but someone who genuinely wants to help. That shift from godlike alien to regular guy with big values changes everything. And then there's the heart of the story, his relationships. The Kents, on Gunn's watch, are teaching Clark to be brave, not to hide. Lois Lane, played by Rachel Brosnahan's, more than a love interest. She's a partner, someone who challenges Clark and inspires him. In this world, Superman doesn't learn kindness from his heritage. He learns it from people, from Earth, from us. And that's what makes his story beautiful. Because he didn't have to become a hero. He chose it. Not because he had power, but because he had love in his life. So no, we're not saying Man of Steel was a failure. It had its moment and spoke to a version of the world that needed something darker. But James Gunn is making a choice to hope again. To give us a Superman who reflects the world not as it is, but as it could be. A Superman who lifts people up not just from danger, but from despair. That's why his version hits harder not with action, but with heart. Because maybe what we need most right now isn't just someone to save the day. Maybe we need someone who reminds us we're still worth saving. James Gunn's Superman feels like the future, but also like the past. We miss a blend of the mythic and the everyday. The kind of hero who doesn't just win, he inspires. And that's what Superman should always do. So yeah, sorry but James Gunn's Superman. He's not just better than Man of Steel. He's what Superman was always meant to be. There's something really special happening with this new Superman. And it's not just about tone or acting or costumes. It's about timing. The world we live in now is different. There's so much noise, so much division, so many stories about pain and failure. And in some ways, we've become almost numb to hope. We're tired of being disappointed, tired of being let down. That's why this version of Superman feels like a quiet revolution, because he's not yelling. He's not smashing walls. He's simply standing in the middle of the storm, calm, steady, and choosing kindness. Not because people earn it, but because they need it. And isn't that the Superman we all remember? The one from comic books read under covers late at night. The one who always made us feel like even when the world falls apart, there's still someone who hasn't given up on us. Legacy is bringing that back. It's written into every word James Gunn has shared about the film. He's not trying to reinvent Superman, he's trying to remind us who he is. This isn't a man burdened by power. It's a man shaped by love, raised by two good people who taught him that strength means nothing without compassion, that it's okay to care too much, that it's okay to feel, and that feeling is what's been missing. Because, if we're honest, Man of Steel made Superman feel distant. More like a weapon than a person. T felt controlled, even afraid of himself. He stood apart from humankind. Above it, but away from it. Even the way he speaks in Snyder's universe is cold, serious, scripted. You don't get the feeling he enjoys being who he is. And that's a tragedy. Because Superman is supposed to love people, not just protect them. Talk to them. Watch baseball games with them. Help them carry groceries. He's not just a symbol. He's a neighbor and gun. He's bringing that softness back into the story without making it feel weak. This is a Superman who can lift mountains but still holds back tears when saying goodbye to his mother. The kind of man who will fly across the world just to deliver a birthday card on time. Moments like that, tiny, personal things, may not get the loudest cheers, but they're what make him real. And in this version, he's not constantly brooding about the weight on his shoulders. He's happy to serve. He feels lucky to help. Imagine that, a hero who doesn't see kindness as sacrifice, but as a gift. Now, let's talk about influences. James Gunn has spoken openly about drawing from classic comics like All-Star, Superman. That's a version of the character many fans hold close as Superman, who's wise beyond words, but still humble. A Superman who saves lives, not just with heat, vision, or strength, but with presence. In one famous panel, he kneels beside a girl on the edge of a building and tells her that she's not alone. He doesn't stop a bomb or break through a wall. He just shows up. That's sometimes all it takes, and James Gunn understands that. He's not making Superman cooler. He's making him warmer. Even the team around Superman reflects this shift. The new DC universe Gunn is building isn't full of angry loners or bitter anti-heroes. Seats full of people learning how to work together. There's a sense of belonging. Legacy isn't just about Superman, it's about how he inspires others. His presence doesn't just stop evil, it encourages people to be better. That includes Lois Lane, the reporters, the scientists, the kids in the neighborhood. And that's the real superpower. Not flight, not strength, but influence. Inspiration. Let's take a moment to visualize something. Imagine Clark Kent walking into the Daily Planet newsroom on a rainy Tuesday morning. He places an umbrella over a stranger's head before walking in, greets the intern by name, brings coffee for the night desk editor. Then he sits down, puts on his glasses, and starts writing a story that could make someone's life just a little better. No capes, no villains, no explosions. Just a man doing the next right thing. That's the magic of Superman. He doesn't need a spotlight. He never did. Now imagine Henry Cavill's Superman in that setting. It feels harder to picture, doesn't it? Through no fault of the actor, Veal was excellent. He gave 110% to the role and looked every bit the modern-day god. But the version written for him didn't allow for lightness. He was always struggling, always serious. We rarely saw him joke, relax, or connect with others. Clark Kent was barely a character, at almostly just a disguise. And you can't build a truly emotional story if you never let the hero feel safe. With Gunn's Superman, Clark and Kal-El are one and the same. There's no split, no mask. It's just a man who's comfortable being both powerful and humble. Who doesn't? Downplay his gifts but doesn't brag either. And maybe that's the greatest difference of all. It's a Superman who doesn't need to prove anything. He just chooses to be good. And over time, that builds something bigger. Hope, and not the abstract kind. Not the shiny poster with the S symbol and the dramatic lighting, but real hope. The kind that stays behind to clean up. The kind that remembers birthdays. The kind that volunteers. Gunn's Superman doesn't show up because people are watching. He shows up even when no one else will. And that's what makes him so much better. He's not here to punish villains. He's here to protect people. And that small detail, the whole story. Because yes, we live in a time when audiences are drawn to dark, edgy heroes. We like our Batmans, our Deadpools, our flawed characters who carry scars. But Superman isn't supposed to be what other heroes are. He's not supposed to be cool. He's supposed to be pure. That's what makes him stand out. That's what makes him legendary. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is be kind in a world that tells you it's easier not to be. That's the Superman we need right now. Then James Gunn gets that on a soul-deep level. He's not just retelling the story, he's healing it. And we feel that, we feel it in the way. Fans are already connecting to the concept. We feel it in the warmth around the cast. We feel it in the passion behind the scenes. It's different this time. This version of Superman isn't here to change the world by force. He's here to change it by example. To be soft when the world is hard. To be light when it gets dark. To be good. Even when no one claps. Many people say that Superman is too difficult to write today. That he's outdated. That he doesn't belong in a modern world full of complicated morality. And maybe that's why we need him now more than ever. Because when everything feels broken, Superman reminds us that we can still choose to fix it. One small act of kindness. At a time, it doesn't need explosions. It just needs heart. So whether or not Superman Legacy becomes the biggest box office success, or gets all the critical praise, doesn't even matter in the long run. Because what it's already done is give people permission to believe again, to say, yes, the world is rough, but maybe there's still room for heroes like him. And that may be the most heroic thing of all.